Hello YouTubes! This is the second episode of Terran Tactics. This one's still going to be aimed at the new gamer, and it's going to be primarily, as said in the last video, going to be about hotkeys and why you should use hotkeys, what hotkeys are really for, and what's the benefits of kind of using them and whatnot. Right, so we're going to jump in and I'm going to go a brief overview of them, and it should be fun. Right, so this is in the game now, doesn't matter about that. Right, so we'll custom game it, and whatever map is fine. And this is just going to be, we don't need an enemy. This is just going to be kind of a brief overlay of the hotkeys, and why we use the hotkey and things, as I said. Right. Okay. So, instead of clicking on the command center to press S, as in to build a worker kind of thing, we're going to click on it, press Control, and we're going to press 4. I like 4 for the command center, sometimes like 5, I like 4. Right, so make a worker, instead of clicking on it, we press 4, then S, and that's a hotkey. The thing as well, see if we're like way over here, we can double tap the hotkey, so double tap 4, and we're back here. Awesome, right? Right, so this guy's going to be our worker, so he can be on 1. So 1 and 4. So 4. So where's that guy? He's there. So 1, B, S. So we can switch between our worker, double tapping it, and our command center, double tapping it. So when this guy's done, we're going to make a barracks with him, and that's going to be a hotkey as well. And this is a beautiful thing. So 1 to get this guy, and he's going to press BB to build a barracks. And this barracks can be Control 5. So 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5. And the reason why you hear, like, when you hear, like, say, like a pro gamer or anything, you hear them do this. And that's because they're going through the hotkeys. Some people call it spamming, which it is, and spamming is good for warming up your hands, so when you need to be able to go through all your hotkeys exceptionally fast, you can. Right, we're actually going to get this guy. He's just going to be another worker to do this. Just so we don't get supply blocked. Right, so when this is done, we can press 5 and A to build a marine, and then right click to set a rally point. This guy was our worker, he can go scout now. So we can see the scouting path, we can see the production. And the reason why players go through their hotkeys is to check on production. You see how, like, I've got 1 SCV producing, I've got 1 marine producing, I can see how many's in the queue. So there, 4 and 5, 4 and 5. Double tap 1 to go here, double tap 4 to go back here. Right, there's another very good use for hotkeys. As, let's demonstrate. Let's put these guys on control group 2. So we've got our scout, our army, our command center, our barracks. Right, so these guys, to add something to a control group, you press shift. See, there's now 3 there. Right, so these guys can go over here. Say, but I need to build something at home. Like, I need to build workers. 4S. Building more marines. 5A. I'm over here, I'm not looking at the buildings. So I can be looking over here, or looking at my scout. Then switch back to my army, tell them to go over here. Look at my command center, look at my barracks. So my scout's over here, but then I need to go home, because say like a supply depot, which I need. Then, back to the scout. Back to the army. Back to the scout. Back to the army. Back to the command center. Back to the production. Very useful. And that's why it's used. And since this video isn't going to be particularly long, I'm going to show screen location hotkeys as well, because they are hotkeys. Okay? Right, so say this is your base, and you want an easier way to get back to your base than just double tapping 4. You have to set these hotkeys up in the... I'll actually just show you. Right, you go to Options, Controls, no, Gameplay, sorry. No, what? Hotkeys. There's a big huge button at the bottom that I can't see. Right, so we go down to this global thing, right? And see this camera? Double click to expand on this, and see these. Locational hotkeys. See, mine are control 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right, so we're going to go here. We're going to press control F1. And down here, we'll press control F2. So if I want to, I can go there and there just by singly tapping the hotkey. So 4S5A. Check on the scout, check on the army, go back to base with the locational hotkeys. And why did my StarCraft crash out? Why is... That's really interesting. Oh, it doesn't like screen location hotkeys? Oh, okay. Apparently OBS doesn't like screen location hotkeys for what I'm doing with it. Let's actually just double check that. Yeah, it really doesn't like it. Wow. Okay, it doesn't like my second locational hotkey, which is fine. But okay, so you get the general gist of jumping between things with hotkeys. And to some extent locational hotkeys, even though my OBS seems to have broke. But anyway, to do it, locational hotkey, you press the control function there, control F2 there, but you can set them up any way you want. Or even you can even have a control F on their base. So if you want to look at your base, then where you're attacking, you just press F1, F3, F1, F3. It doesn't like F2 for some reason. Maybe there's a conflict in keys, but for OBS as well. Maybe I've got F2 set up to do something on there as well. But anyway, hopefully that's been useful. Well, let's go back into the other thing. So, this has been an episode about hotkeys, and I'm hoping it's been useful to you. So if you can apply what you learned in the first episode, then apply what you learned in this episode, we can move on to something like a build order. And that's what the next episode is going to be. It's going to be why to use a build order. Firstly, what is a build order? Secondly, why you should use it. Thirdly, it's not just a group of numbers as people, like if you go on the internet, you can find a multitude of build orders that say like you build a supply depot on 10, your barracks on 12, your gas on 13, and so on. And people seem to follow that like religiously, which isn't the point of the build order, and we'll go into that in that episode. But thanks for watching. It's been Fenrir.